You know what's funny? All of this, every galaxy, every nebula, every star being born in those clouds of fire and gas has been out there for 13 billion years. And for almost all of that time, there was no human eye looking at it. Yes, no eyes, no telescopes, no one to say, my goodness, look at that. Until one afternoon in 1946, a 32-year-old scientist sat down at a desk in Princeton, New Jersey, picked up his pen, and started writing the paper that would, 44 years later, give the human race its first perfect eyes. This is that story of that crazy man, a piece of paper, and the word impossible. It's a story about a man who had a dream so big the whole world told him to just stop. He didn't stop. And because he didn't, you get to see the universe the way it truly is. But before we get to him, I need to ask you something, young explorers. Have you ever tried to look at something through a foggy window? Maybe early in the morning. Glass all misted up, and you can just barely make out the shapes outside. That's exactly how every astronomer on Earth was looking at the universe for hundreds of years through a foggy window. And the fog was our own sky. Here's something surprising. The same air that keeps us alive, the atmosphere, is also the worst possible thing for looking at space. Why? Because our atmosphere, think of it as a thick, wobbly blanket of air wrapped around Earth, does two things that drive astronomers crazy. First, it blurs starlight. Light travels perfectly across the universe for billions of kilometers. Then in the last 100 kilometers, our wobbly air shakes it around like a reflection in a rippled puddle, and that's why the stars twinkle. It's not the stars dancing, it's our air misbehaving. Second, and this is the bigger problem, our atmosphere completely blocks certain types of light. Not all light looks the same. There's the light our eyes can see, and then there are invisible types of light, like the ultraviolet light and the infrared light. Ultraviolet and infrared. Each type of light carries completely different secrets about the universe. Infrared reveals the very first galaxies ever born. Ultraviolet shows us blazing newborn stars. X-rays reveal superheated gas swirling around black holes. And what our atmosphere does is, it intercepts every single one of them. It destroys them before they ever reach our telescopes on the ground. But a telescope in space, one that's sitting above the atmosphere, that can see all of this. And the first person to conceive of such a thing, to write this whole thing down clearly, brilliantly in 1946, was a 32-year-old scientist named Lyman Spitzer Jr. Princeton University, 1946. World War II had just ended. Nobody had been to space. Rockets powerful enough to reach orbit did not exist until then. And Spitzer sat at his desk one evening and wrote a paper. What was the title of that paper? The title was Astronomical Advantages of an Extraterrestrial Observatory. In plain English, it means a telescope in space would be extraordinary. He sent this paper out, he gave lectures on it, told everyone who would listen. What did the world say? The world said, well, interesting. Interesting idea, Mr. Lyman. Very creative indeed. Now, back to your normal work. Because in 1946, a space telescope was science fiction, and the world wasn't ready. Spitzer was thinking ahead of his time. So Spitzer did something remarkable. He didn't shout. He didn't storm off. He didn't give up. He waited and quietly he kept pushing. But before we follow Spitzer into that fight, the telescope needed a name. And the name that it was given belongs to one of the greatest astronomers who ever lived. The name of that astronomer was Edwin Hubble. In the 1920s, most scientists believed our galaxy, the Milky Way, was the entire universe. It was everything. It was Edwin Hubble who looked more carefully and proved beyond a shadow of doubt that the Milky Way was not the universe. It was just one galaxy among hundreds of billions. Each galaxy containing hundreds of billions of stars. And then Edwin Hubble found something even more astonishing. Every galaxy was rushing away from every other. The universe was basically not sitting still. It was expanding. Spitzer, now in his 50s and 60s, was still fighting. Still writing papers. Still walking the corridors of Washington with that same quiet, unstoppable certainty. One day at a congressional hearing, it was a budget meeting. Spitzer sat before a row of unimpressed politicians.
Dr. Spitzer, we already have telescopes on mountains, and they're pretty expensive. Why should taxpayers spend hundreds of millions launching one into space?
Well, Senators, because the universe has been sending us messages for 13 billion years. In light, our atmosphere destroys a lot of different kinds of light before they arrive. The Space Telescope removes that hindrance. It removes that wall. We can finally hope to learn how old our universe actually is. We'll probably see things we cannot yet imagine because we've never been able to see them with our own eyes, with our available resources. What we find I cannot promise in advance. This is the nature of discovery, but I promise you this, it will be worth it, Senator.
Approved, then cancelled, then approved again. Budget cut, mirror size reduced. Delayed again and again. In 1977, 31 years after writing that first paper, Congress finally gave full approval. Lyman Spitzer was 63 years old. 31 years for one idea. That is not stubbornness. That is not obsession. That is faith. The quiet, unshakable, nobody can take it from you kind. And it was about to be rewarded.